Number 6, pay your bill online at stillwater.org and select Pay Utility Bill.
So if I say I reckon, you mark it.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to call to order the June 16th, 2014 City Council meeting. And right off the top, I'm going to announce that Councilor Darlington is not present this evening. If you'll please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. All right, on the consent docket, Mr. Dorman.
I'd ask that you pull item E.
Okay, item E, we will pull that. And then we have items A through D on the consent docket. Does anyone wish to pull any other items on the consent docket?
I'd make a motion to approve the consent docket minus item E.
Is the agreement for the seismic testing?
That was D.
I would like to discuss that.
You want to pull D?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to amend your motion?
With
Less E and D, D and E?
make a motion to approve the consent docket minus D and E.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion to approve consent minus D and E. That is approved 4-0. Okay, and then items removed from the, I guess, Patty, did we have any requests, any direction? Okay. Okay, down to items removed from the consent docket. We'll start with item D. And
Yeah, the Gold Star Land Services, we've entered agreements with them before where they've done seismic testing for oil drilling out in the surrounding area around Stillwater. This particular time, they're looking at the southeast part of Stillwater. The city at our wastewater treatment plant has several acres in that area. It took us a while to negotiate because they cannot do the testing on those portions of that site where we're actively disposing of sludge. We field apply it. So we've identified that one of the 5 sections, and this is an agreement for them to do the non-intrusive seismic testing on the other 4 sites around the treatment plant. Mr. Dorman's reviewed it. It's same restrictions and requirements we placed on them in prior agreements.
Looking over the agreement, it didn't look like they could do much but place those seismic boxes around and take readings, so it's not like it's intrusive.
Why are they? I mean, I know why they are. They're looking for places to drill, right?
Yeah. They collect all the geologic data through seismic testing to better help the oil and gas company determine where to drill.
And that is city land, right?
Yes.
Okay.
is there a motion on item D from the consent docket?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion second to approve item D from the consent docket. As approved 3-1. Can't see those letters. I'm assuming it's Councilman Noble that voted no?
Yes.
Okay. All right, item E that was also removed. Mr. Dorman?
The agenda identifies a group of documents. These are basically renewals on healthcare, existing healthcare contracts, and I think Mr. Galloway has the list. And just so the record is clear as to which items were renewed, I'd ask him to read that list and ask you to approve them by a single motion.
One motion.
Yes.
These are all renewals with companies we've been doing business with. Renewal with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma is our third-party administrator. Greenwood International, reinsurer. Delta Dental for dental insurance. Express Scripts for prescriptions. And Gallagher Benefit Services.
Okay.
Recommended renewal of all 5.
Any other questions?
Would move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve consent docket item E. That is approved 4-0. Okay, that'll take us down to public hearings. And our first public hearing received public comment regarding a request for a specific use permit. Property addressed as 3100 North Perkins Road. Ms. Dennison.
Good evening. Paula Dennison with Development Services here to present this specific use permit before you this evening. This is for property located at the corner of Perkins Road and Thomas. It's the area you see hatched. This is an existing building. The request is to allow an animal and pet keeping facility with no exterior changes to the property. This did go before the Planning Commission findings. It's allowed in this general commercial district with a specific use permit, and it's also located adjacent to the light industrial zoning. I'd be happy to answer any questions on this item that you may have at this time.
Any questions? Thank you. Do we have good notice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll open the public hearing. We do not have any requests to speak in favor or against, and so we will close the public hearing and ask for Planning Commission recommendation.
Planning Commission recommends approval unanimously of this request.
Any questions? Is there a motion on this recommendation?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve Planning Commission's recommendation. And that is approved 4-0. Our second public hearing is received public comment regarding a request to close 10 feet of a right-of-way on 12th Avenue. Ms. Dennison.
Thank you. As you can see, hatch mark and outlined in yellow, this is the area in question. There is a structure encroachment into the right-of-way, has been existing for an extremely long time. This will remedy that encroachment. A 12th Avenue right-of-way is 100 feet wide, and typically for this function of street within the city of Stillwater, 80 feet is the minimum that is required, so it's already in excess. So the closing of the 10 feet should not have any detrimental effect to the public's ability to continue to use 12th Avenue. Findings, it does meet the intent of the code. There are no utilities located in the area of the request, and as I mentioned, it will address the encroachment issue. Be happy to answer any questions on this closing request.
Questions? Okay. Do we have good notice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will open up the public hearing, and once again, we don't have anyone made application to speak for or against, so we'll close the public hearing. And staff's recommendation?
Yes, staff's recommendation is to approve the request.
All right. Thank you.
And I so move.
Second.
Motion and second to approve staff's recommendation. And that is approved 4-0. Take us down to our third public hearing of the evening. Receive public comment regarding a request for map amendment rezoning property at 1711 West Lakeview.
Paula Dennison again. We have a request before you this evening. It is a portion of the property addressed as 1711 West Lakeview. It's currently RSS zoning district. The request is to take it to CS or commercial shopping. If you recall, and it's actually on second reading for the ordinance tonight, the property immediately adjacent to the west on this map, because the ordinance is not effective, it is still zoned RTM, but the property owners came in with a request, and it was voted positively to rezone it to RMI, which is a step up in the density and height and use allowances. This property is immediately adjacent to it, and again, it is a portion of the 1711 West Lakeview property. The findings, it is consistent with the comprehensive plan that identifies the high-density residential for the area, and that does allow some neighborhood-style limited commercial activities, and the CS zoning is located in the vicinity of this request. Any questions on this particular item?
Questions?
Is this the same piece of property that the owners of the property wanted to keep it as RSS? Am I right on that?
There was public input when the public hearing was held before the city council meeting for the property immediately to the west.
What I remember hearing was they were concerned about the impact on the infrastructure, not that they were against the development, but they wanted to make sure staff were paying attention to the effect on city services.
I tell you what, the applicant is here, and when we open the public hearing, we can,
Oh, okay.
so we can address that.
Okay, good.
Did I ask about notice?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember. All right, any other questions right now? Actually, I do have one question. When was this application filed?
This application was filed in our offices May 12th.
May 12th?
Yes, sir.
And the hearing on the property next door was May 19th?
The public hearing on the property immediately adjacent west was, yes, May 19th, which would have required in excess of 20 days to have been filed, that application to have been filed in our office.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're going to open up our public hearing. We don't have anyone that has signed up, but I would like to call the applicant up. Please state your name and your address, please.
My name is Rick Houck, and I live at 1711 West Lakeview. Now, what we're trying to do out there is just the front acre of my property there to allow my children, we're on the 4th generation of the Houcks out there, and all we're trying to do is allow my children, my daughters, to build a hair salon and a personal training gym, okay, on the front portion of my acre, because they're going to wind up living out there anyway when I'm gone, okay? So that's all we're trying to do out there.
Okay. The actual use of it is not the pertinent question for the rezone, but I appreciate that explanation. I do have a question for you, though. I'm confused by this application because 3 weeks ago, you got up here and talked about this slice of heaven and how you wanted to protect it from development, but you had already filed this application, which actually was requesting a much more intense usage than what you argued against for next door.
Okay.
Would you mind explaining that to me?
Yes. Now, this application was applied by my children before I even knew what Jim Campbell was going to do next door, okay? And what he's wanting to do and what I'm wanting to do is completely two different things, okay? I mean, he's wanting to build 5-story apartments and everything else next door. This is like an in-home family thing, okay? And I'm allowing my children to do this because they're going to wind up living there when I'm gone anyway, okay? But what Campbell's wanting to do next door is, as far as I'm concerned, is unacceptable for the neighborhood out there, okay? Because everything around us is owned by OSU. It's basically country out there. If you turn up my driveway, you're in the country, okay? And I don't know when it happened, but when I grew up, I was in the country. Now I'm a half a mile inside of the city limits, okay? And things have already changed. But what Campbell wants to do out there next door is just, as far as I'm concerned, is unacceptable out there. But what I'm wanting to do, it's an in-home, in-family thing, okay? And like I said, I'm on the 4th generation of house out there. And this is for my children, okay? And they're going to wind up living in the house that I'm living in right now, okay? So all I'm trying to do is take care of my family and do what's right.
Okay, that didn't even come close to answering my question. But
Well, what was your question again?
My question was, can you please explain to me how you could argue so vehemently against one application when you knew you had applied for a more intense use of the property?
Okay, when my application was made, I had no idea what Jim Campbell was going to do over there. I will tell you, 6 months ago, he was over there dragging the driveway on the place next door to me. I don't know if y'all have been out there or know where I live or anything like that. Okay?
I go by every rezone application multiple times. I know exactly where it is and exactly
All
the
right.
condition of it.
I went over, I never met the man in my life, okay? I went over, I saw him over there on a Kubota tractor, he's dragging the driveway. At that time, I needed my driveway dragged, okay? I went over and asked him if he'd do it for me. And he goes, yeah, and he goes, are you a Houck? And I went, yeah, and he goes, well, I'll just come over and do it. And I said, no, I'll pay to do it. Okay, no, I'll just do it. And I go, I got a question for you, okay? And he goes, what's that? And I go, what are you going to do with this property over here? He goes, you're wondering if I'm going to build apartments or duplexes or something like that over there, aren't you? And I go, yeah, that's exactly what I want to know, okay? Looked me right in the face and went, no, okay? Then the next thing I know, my kids came to me and they asked me, you know, would I be willing to do this for them? And I go, yes, I'd be willing to do this. And then when I got the letter in the mail about Campbell wanting to do this stuff next door, there was nobody more shocked than I was after he looked me right in the face and said he wasn't going to do anything with it, okay? So, and then after the last meeting I was here in, you know, the next thing I know, there's a sign up in my front yard that says, you know, we're trying to switch my property to commercial shopping. Well, it's not going to be commercial shopping. It's going to be a family hair salon and a gym. And it's not one of those gyms where you pay your membership and come when you want. It's all one-on-one personal training. It's all in-family thing, okay? I started getting calls from people from University Estates, the people across the road from me, going, what are you trying to do, get back at Jim Campbell? Well, I had no idea this was going to happen, okay? So I go, no, this is what I'm trying to do, and I didn't know what he was going to do. And so that's where I'm at right now.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, other questions? Mr. Gus, did you have were you wanting to speak on this item? Okay, I will call on Mr. Gus. He did not have, no one was out there when he got here.
On behalf of the applicant, they came to me before Mr. Campbell's application hit the desk. We made an inquiry of Mr. Campbell if he would be interested in, you know, going together and doing CS along the front or something like that. I talked to staff and thought it'd be better if we had a strip along there. But I was informed that he wanted to go back with the RTM because when the multifamily zoning was changed, it reduced the height. So, and when I found out his application was already in, went ahead and submitted theirs just to move on. And you know, if there was a less intense, if you want to look at it that way, zoning, we'd be glad to do it. It's just that neighborhood commercial is what it took to do what they wanted to do.
No, I mean, the only reason I'm asking the questions is I think commercial along Lakeview is exactly what it needs to be. It's a major road. I just couldn't reconcile the enthusiasm of the protest when the applicant had an application in for something more intense right next door.
Understand. And actually, I mean, it's his daughter has actually got the application in. We haven't been letting Rick know exactly what was going on from a procedural standpoint. Gotcha. So apologize for that. Anything else?
Any other questions for the?
I have a question for Paula, but no.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any question? Ms. Denson.
My question is, this is a strict rezone, not a specific use permit, correct? So I mean, he's saying they're doing a hair salon, but it's not a specific use permit, so he could do anything.
Any allowed
Anything
use
allowed
in the
commercial.
CS zoning district? Yes, sir, you're correct.
And can you give some examples of the highest intensity use under that zoning in your opinion?
Certainly. Retail trade, offices, of course. This falls under personal and laundry services. There could be personal storage and warehousing, mixed use, restaurant, school, beverage services, bed and breakfast, hotel, motel. Those are the permitted uses in the CS zoning district.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions for Ms. Dennison? Okay. What's Planning Commission's recommendation?
Planning Commission recommends unanimous approval of this request.
Okay.
I would be willing to make a motion to approve based on Planning Commission's recommendation. I agree with you, Mayor. I think whatever the commercial application might be there, that's a good spot for it, and that's an appropriate development for the front part of that property. Just as I thought the housing project next door to it was a good use. So, I'm going to just say, that an applicant has a right to come and present and can also speak against another applicant's use but that doesn't negate his ability to come before us and ask for a change in the
I agree.
in the map amendment rezoning request. So I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Has been a motion to approve and a second. And it is approved 3-1 with Counselor Noble voting no. That is approved. Okay, that'll take us down to general orders. We do have one item under general orders. Right-of-way and infrastructure development agreement between City of Stillwater and Tubner Properties.
Okay.
Ms. Dennison has this one, okay?
Yes, Paula Dennison again in Development Services. What we have before you this evening, your typical right-of-way agreement allows private use of the public way. In this case, second-story balconies overhanging the public way with support posts, et cetera, outdoor seating cafe at the corner of 7th and South Main Street, just right across the way here. This also includes an infrastructure development agreement. There are public improvements to our existing public infrastructure that the developer of that property has proposed to make. This agreement is the city contributing to that improvement, partnering with the developer. They're making the improvements. They will manage the entire contract, and we will contribute, if this agreement is approved, a set amount of funds for those improvements that they're going to make on our behalf, in essence.
Did you say what the infrastructure development was for?
Yes, sir. There's quite a list. If y'all have the full...
I just didn't read the whole thing, sorry.
That's perfectly fine. The public infrastructure includes
Primarily sidewalks, drainage, curb cuts, handicap ramp, all the
Yes.
public structure.
Well, I was inquiring about what's Mr. Tubner wanted to do. Did you say he was wanting a second-story balcony?
Yes, sir.
It's a restaurant.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Any questions regarding this right-of-way agreement?
Well, I guess, I don't know if you're who asked or Mr. Galloway, but I saw in the agreement it said up to $30,000 is what the city would put if they needed to. Was that budgeted for improvements?
We have that in our sidewalk project. It's kind of a standing, well, somewhat standing policy. In business districts, where the sidewalk goes all the way from the street curb to the front of the building, such as downtown or on the strip, those are the public-owned sidewalks, but they're to the benefit of the businesses. Often, they could wait till the day comes that we just repair them. It's to everybody's benefit if they're repaired and replaced. And so we offer basically a 50-50 program. If the property owner wants to replace that public sidewalk in front of their building, we'll do 50%. And that way, it's met both the public and the private objective. Now, all of the components of his project that are described that are not part of the public, the balcony, that's all 100% their cost. We only participate in that part that's truly the public structure.
So
I
it is
don't
budgeted.
think, did you answer my question?
Yeah.
So is it budgeted or not? But I mean,
Yes.
so we have this money in our budget if we have to put 30.
Comes out of our
okay.
sidewalk.
That's all, okay, all right, okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't have any more questions.
All right. Any other questions on this item? Mr. Anderson, Mr. Galloway? Applicants here if we have questions of, I guess Mr. Tubner's here if you've had questions for Mr. Tubner. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, any conversation? You guys,
Staff recommends approval. We think it's a good project.
I mean, that corner has already undergone great renovation on the private side, and improving the sidewalks in those public areas will go a long way towards helping improve even more.
This
I
is
like the idea of a balcony.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
cool.
that, yeah.
It's consistent with the other work that's been done downtown, so I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. And that is approved 4-0. That'll take us down to resolution. We have Resolution CC 2014-6, resolution declaring the necessity for acquiring ownership to certain real property. I need to read the whole thing, or are we good?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Ownership to certain real property hereinafter described for the purpose of the 6th Avenue and Perkins Road intersection improvement project in the city of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Is there a report, or
Staff just recommend, this resolution of necessity will help us keep the 6th and Perkins project on track so that we can obtain the necessary right-of-ways for the state to commence construction next year. Without this resolution, we may not have that ability.
any questions of staff on this resolution? Is there a motion on Resolution CC 2014-6?
Motion to approve resolution CC 2014-6.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And that is approved 4-0. That'll take us down to ordinances, and we have several on first reading and then several on second reading. So on first reading, ordinance 3265. Mr. Dorman.
An ordinance closing a portion of the utility easements at property addressed as 1400 North Boomer Road, 1298 North Knobloch Street, and 601 to 661 West Bennett Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. It's approved 4-0. Ordinance 3266.
An ordinance amending the Stillwater City Code by amending Chapter 33 Parks, Events and Recreation, Article 1 in general by amending Section 33-9 Sales of Goods.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion approved 3266 in a second. It's approved 4-0, and then ordinance 3267.
An ordinance amending the Stillwater City Code by amending Chapter 12 Businesses, Article 2 Food Service Operators by amending Section 12-20 Definitions by amending Article 4 Itinerant Merchants and Peddlers, Division 1 generally by amending Section 12-117 Definitions and Section 12-118 Penalty by amending Division 2 License by amending Section 12-140 Application and by creating Section 12-147 Sales on Streets and Other Public Places Prohibited.
One question real fast. These two ordinances on first reading, these were the result of the conversations to work with the food trucks.
Yes, sir. These basically streamline that process.
And there's a third ordinance that Planning Commission is looking at first?
Yes, that would be the one to enable the construction of freestanding food truck courts. That will, I think it's on the agenda for the next Planning Commission meeting, so you should see that, I believe, the first part of July.
Wonderful. And had we received any other comment than what we'd already received from the food truck owners when we brought them in to talk about these?
No, they seem to be very well accepted. Again, the whole idea here was to streamline the process, get the licensing where it was more easily done.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on ordinance 3267. That is approved 4-0. Now on second reading, ordinance 3261.
An ordinance authorizing the long-term lease of a certain parcel of property located at 907 West 12th Avenue, providing for citizen-initiated referendum of said lease in accordance with Section 4-2 of the city charter.
Move approval.
Approval. Second.
Motion and a second on ordinance 3261, second reading. It's approved 4-0. Ordinance 3262.
An ordinance closing a portion of a general utility easement at property addressed as 3100 North Madison Court.
Have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and second on 3262 on second reading. It's approved 4-0. 3263.
An ordinance rezoning attractive land located at 220 to 312 West Elm Avenue and 140 South Husband Street from RTM Residential Two-Family and Multifamily District and RMI Residential Multifamily Intermediate District to HR High Rise District.
I would move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and multiple seconds on 3263 on second reading. And finally, ordinance 3264.
An ordinance rezoning attractive land located at 1723 West Lakeview Road from RTM Residential Two-Family and Multifamily District to RMI Residential Multifamily Intermediate District.
We have a motion on this?
I would move to approve.
I'll second it. As approved 3-1 with Counselor Noble voting in the negative. Okay, this takes us down to reports from officers and boards. Mr. Gorman.
Request an executive session pursuant to 25 OS subsection 307B4 for the purpose of confidential communication regarding a tort claim filed by Sean Krebs. It is my opinion that public disclosure of this matter will seriously impair the ability of the City Council to process this claim and/or conduct an investigation and/or prosecute or defend any resulting litigation or proceeding in the public interest. Secondly, I request an executive session pursuant to 25 OS subsection 307B2 to discuss the labor negotiation for Fraternal Order of Police Lodge number 102.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's all, sir.
Mr. Galloway.
Nothing further this evening, thank you.
Anything from counselors? All right, well, I'm going to talk you up. Counselor Nahara is going to be on the radio tomorrow at 8:15, KSPI 780 AM. I'll be on the radio Wednesday, triple play. And then also like to thank Wings of Hope. They had to postpone their big event from a couple weeks ago to this Saturday at Boomer Lake. I think it's 11 to 5.
Is it Boomer or Couch?
I thought it was Boomer.
I thought it was Couch, but either, you know.
Pay attention, folks. Find out where it is and show up at the Wings of Hope, Chicken Wings of Hope fundraiser. And then I'd also like to thank the Stillwater Area Sports Association for a great season of baseball. They had several successful tournaments, and their last tournament was this weekend, and 5 Stillwater teams came in either first or second. So, good job on the U Sports front.
Good job to your son who won
As a matter of
first
fact.
on Father's Day after being in a deficit.
That's right. I had a good Father's Day yesterday. There's no doubt. Okay. Anything for upcoming meetings? All right. We do have some appointments, and let me pull that up. Okay, on Board of Drainage Appeals, we actually have one that I'm going to nominate Jason Vogel for reappointment to a second term on Board of Drainage Appeals.
Second.
Second? That is approved 4-0. We do have 2 empty spots on that board, and so public, if you know of anyone that is got the hydrology expertise or credentials or the hydrology/engineer credentials, we need to fill those 2 spots. Those are very hard to fill, but we do have 2 open spots on that board. All right, on Library Trust Board, I would nominate Linda Burks for reappointment for a second term.
Second.
And that is also approved 4-0. Okay, we're going to recess City Council and move into Stillwater Utility Authority. I will call that meeting to order. On the consent docket, there are 3 items. Does anyone wish to remove any items from the consent docket of the Stillwater Utility Authority? Not, is there a motion on the consent docket?
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve consent docket. As approved 4-0. With no other items on that agenda, is there a motion to adjourn SUA?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn SUA. Loomis. That's approved 4-0. SUA is adjourned. We'll call to order the Stillwater Economic Development Authority. And there is item A on the consent docket.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the consent docket for Stillwater Economic Development Authority. That's approved 4-0. That brings us down to request for executive session.
Request an executive session pursuant to 25 OS 307C10 for the purpose of conferring on matters pertaining to economic development, including the transfer of property, financing, or the creation of a proposal to entice a business to locate within the city of Stillwater because public disclosure of the matter to be discussed would interfere with the development of products and services and would violate the confidentiality of the business.
All right. Procedurally, executive session for CETA, return, adjourn CETA back to council.
Yes, sir.
This should be a brief session.
Wonderful. Okay. Is there a motion to move into executive session for Stillwater Economic Development Authority?
I move to move into executive session for Stillwater Economic Development Authority.
Second.
Second. Sorry.
And that is approved 4-0. We will be back.
Okay. Hang on to that.
The amount of festivals and performing arts programs were included in Stillwater's study as well. That's all for this month's edition of City Beat. For all of us here at the City of Stillwater, I'm Megan Kasak. Thanks for watching.
City of Stillwater Television transmits programming 24 hours each day throughout the Stillwater and surrounding area on Sunlight Communications Channel 23 and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. The purpose of the station is to provide the latest news and information about Stillwater City government and its services, as well as information on city events. Live broadcasts of the Stillwater City Council, Stillwater Utilities Authority, Stillwater Economic Development Authority, and Stillwater Planning Commission air on this station, and replays of these meetings can be found here daily and on demand at stillwater.org. For more information, or if you have questions, contact the Office of Marketing and Public Relations at 405-742-8362 or email news@stillwater.org.
It's wondering, it must be the mood or something. Can't even get one ordered. Because it's cold. It's me too. And I found that
Oh, you are? I know, it's just like that they, and it says every occupation, they have so much work, it's just like we're expected, and we're expected to work, 50 to 60 hour work week. Do you really need sleep? Sleep. I usually end up like for the day that whenever my agenda information has to go about meeting reminder. That's the same thing. I'm typing up the minutes 10 minutes before it's supposed to go. Oh, what happened?
Because there's so, yeah, there's nothing, you know. It always is.
That'd be scary. Yeah. Can you imagine? Anybody that wants to work has to. But that's hard to trying to recruit just companies who don't have strong rules unless it's a high average wage that will bring people in. Yeah, they're open. Actually, they produced and sold their first manufactured line in November. This kind of happening. So they have 2 cells that are operational, and at the end of this month, they're opening the 3rd cell. At the end of July, they're opening the separate. It's aluminum manufacturing. It's a whole separate line. So they've got their slat tracks is what they're doing on those first 3, and then it'll be an aluminum track with them too. So they're open. We have 100 employees down now, and they're planning, they want to hire an additional 50 to 75 in the next 6 months. They're doing some of their training through there, but some of it is so customized on the aerospace side. But they are working with a company in Tulsa, and they're also sending all of their process opportunities to train in their business. And so they pay for now Meridian, the Oklahoma Department of Career Tech. It pays for some of that training when they send them over. So that's for dance and too. It's crazy. I know, I told my chief's doing really good to, you guys are stealing all of my reports. Be like, we already heard that, that's all you need. But it's coming to It's not anything we can really do because of the hormone. But I saw there were a few I missed a couple of meetings, but the first reading of that ginger is what he's on to about there, and if that passed council out, and now it's in for the readings. Yes. I wasn't sure. Noble and McGowan. I mean, you know, they should talk about it with each other, but yeah. I'm sure they have lots of questions and their own opinions. And we use a lot of the stuff that comes out. So we do a partnership and a partnership, and they And they're not afraid to, come in and with their It's too many. It's too many. It gets crazy sometimes. There's usually about 25 people. Every meeting. But it's hard sometimes when you have a big group to get something done. Because then. But they're pretty good at saying, let's establish a committee to do that, and then a group starts. To do which is basically. Yeah. They recommend. And there's not very, I don't think I've heard any time that someone's been dropped this away. It's like 36 Boston. Registration is now open for the City of Stillwater Summer Tennis Lesson Program. Registration forms are available at stillwater.org or at the Parks and Recreation Administrative Offices at 315 East 9th Avenue. Office hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Lessons are held at Couch Park Tennis Courts at 800 East 12th Avenue. Students will need to provide their own rackets. Beginner lessons will begin at 10:30 a.m. and advanced beginner lessons will begin at 9:30 a.m. For more information about session dates, call Parks and Recreation at 405-747-8070 or go to stillwater.org. The City of Stillwater Municipal Pool will be open for summer fun this Memorial Day weekend. Registration for Learn to Swim summer swimming programs is also underway. Registration forms are available online at stillwater.org or at the Parks and Recreation Administrative Offices at 315 East 9th Avenue. Pool punch cards and season passes are also now available for purchase through Parks and Recreation. The Learn to Swim program offers sessions for youth, adult, and parent and taught lessons throughout the summer. The municipal pool is found in Couch Park at 800 East 12th Avenue.
For more information about lessons and pool hours, call Parks and Recreation at 405-747-8070 or go to stillwater.org.
Did you know if you're an OSU student, you can dispose of large items to the City of Stillwater's Convenience Collection Center free of charge? Anytime between May 1st to June 28th, students with a valid OSU student ID can drop off items at the Collection Center located at 807 South Perkins Road. Items include furniture, appliances with Freon already purged, mattresses, computers, televisions, and stereos. Also, please note that trailers are not allowed at the Collection Center, so please plan accordingly.
The City of Stillwater presents to you the 6 ways to pay your utility bill. Number 1. Pay by mail by using the return envelope included with your bill to send your check. Remember to return the stub from your bill to ensure proper credit. Number 2. Pay by person at one of the customer service windows located at City Hall from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Number 3. Pay by slipping your payment in one of the 2 drop boxes, either outside the front entrance of City Hall or at the 8th Avenue entrance to the parking lot across from City Hall. Number 4. Pay by credit card. Number 5. Pay by using automatic bank drafting. This service pays your bill directly from your checking or savings account. Number 6. Pay your bill online at stillwater.org and select Pay Utility Bill.
Hello, I'm Officer Howell with the Stillwater Police Department. We just want to tell citizens that no dumpster in the City of Stillwater is for public use, and that each one of these, including trash carts, are assigned to a residence or business. A person cannot dump trash into another one's trash receptacle. This is considered illegal dumping. If a person is caught doing this, he or she is subject to a fine of up to $540. Each dumpster and trash cart within city limits is assigned to someone who is paying for trash and recycling services, and there are no public dumpsters. So please, dispose of your trash properly, and here are ways to dispose of excess trash.
If you do have excessive trash, there are ways you can dispose of it besides dumping it into someone else's trash bin or dumpster. You could trade in your blue cart for a larger cart or request for an additional cart. Just call 405-742-8269 to do this. Purchase any blue bags at any OnQ Express store in Stillwater or at the Convenience Collection Center located at 807 South Perkins Road. You can also take your trash or recyclables to the Convenience Collection Center. The city will help you in any way to ensure that your services are taken care of.
Hi, I'm Officer Elliott with the Stillwater Police Department. I'm here to remind you to drive safely and courteously on the streets of Stillwater. Our team of excellent officers are committed to serving and protecting you whenever you're in need. Stay away from distractions while driving, like texting, loud music, and other chores. You pose a threat not only to yourself, but to the other citizens on the roadway.
Hello, Stillwater. I'm Megan Kasak. Today we will be explaining how to lower your City of Stillwater trash bill. Here we have various sizes of trash and recycle carts. The recycle carts have the yellow lids. Say for instance you only have one 96-gallon trash cart. The cost for this would be $16.93 a month. You can reduce the cost by simply enrolling into the curbside recycling program. When you recycle, you reduce the amount of trash you place into your trash cart. So we will drop to a 64-gallon trash cart and then combine it with any size recycle cart you want. There are 3 sizes, 96-gallon, 64-gallon, and 35-gallon. With this combination, you reduce your bill to $14.82. Or choose a 35-gallon trash cart, combine it with any size recycle cart, and reduce your bill to $12.72. Okay, so let's say you have a lot of trash and you use 2 96-gallon trash carts. This costs $27.71. Replace one of your trash carts with a 96-gallon recycle cart, and you reduce your trash bill to $16.93. Remember that with our new curbside recycling program, there is absolutely no sorting necessary from the customer. With the waste management fees mentioned earlier, not only do you receive trash and recycling collection once a week, but there are other services provided in your monthly fee that help meet your needs. Access to the Convenience Collection Center, semi-annual household pickup, and special collections such as yard waste and moving boxes. For more information about enrolling into curbside recycling, call 405-742-8269.
Have a parking or traffic ticket? Ticket holders can pay their tickets online through the Municipal Court Online Payments website. Visit stillwater.org and click on the Pay Ticket tab to be directed to the Payments website. Parking tickets are accessible 24 hours after they are issued. Traffic tickets are accessible 5 to 7 days after they are issued. Or pay your tickets in person at the Municipal Court counter in the Municipal Building or at a city drop box. For more information, contact Municipal Court at 405-742-8253.
Hi, I'm Tom Bradley. I'm the Fire Chief for the Stillwater Fire Department. Every year in January, we offer a contract for the rural fire services. Outside the corporate city limits for Stillwater, we're obligated by ordinance to charge for our services. These charges can be rather expensive depending on the nature and the seriousness of the fire. It's not uncommon for a structure fire to exceed $4,000 for our services depending on the number of apparatus and manpower that goes out to the fire scene. For just $100 per year, you can ensure that any emergency services provided to you on your property will not exceed $2,000. We offer a rural fire contract for $100 per year. It's available at 1510 South Main Street, Stillwater, Oklahoma, or you can find the contract online at stillwater.org under the fire department under contracts. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, and have a fire safe day.
Sign up for the City of Stillwater's new emergency and community notification system, Be Informed Stillwater. This state-of-the-art mass notification system is designed to keep Stillwater residents, businesses, and others informed of emergencies and certain community events. To sign up for the service, go to stillwater.org and find the Be Informed Stillwater button at the bottom of the page. There you'll find instructions on how to sign up and information on frequently asked questions about the service. When signing up, you may enter up to 10 phone numbers and email addresses in your profile. The system will notify you by the following methods which you can choose for your profile: voice, email, or text message. Notifications include imminent threats to health, safety, and welfare for community, such as wildfires, floods, and severe weather events. You'll also have the option to choose to receive non-emergency alerts and informational bulletins on city news and topics that interest you. For additional questions, email beinformedstw@stillwater.org or call 405-533-8590. Don't have computer access at home to sign up for Be Informed Stillwater? No problem. Visit the Stillwater Public Library at 1107 South Duck Street and speak to a librarian at the help desk. They will be more than happy to assist you.
Hi, I'm Blake Shive with the City of Stillwater. Here are some friendly tips to make sure your trash and recycling carts will be picked up on your scheduled pickup day. First, have your carts out by 6 a.m. Make sure there's 5 feet from your cart and make sure that the lids are closed to ensure that your carts will be picked up. For more information, you can visit the City of Stillwater's website at stillwater.org.
Nobody likes it when the power goes out, especially when they get a busy signal trying to report an outage. Well, the City of Stillwater has unveiled a new phone system where customers can easily call one phone number for electric, water, and sewer outages. The number to call is 405-372-3292, and you can call 24 hours a day. This is an automated system designed to recognize your phone number and easily pinpoint the problem at hand. So make sure your phone number is updated on your utility account. To verify or change the phone number on your account, call Utility Customer Service at 405-742-8258.
City of Stillwater Television transmits programming 24 hours each day throughout the Stillwater and surrounding area on Sunlight Communications Channel 23 and AT&T Uverse Channel 99. The purpose of the station is to provide the latest news and information about Stillwater City government and its services, as well as information on city events. Live broadcasts of the Stillwater City Council, Stillwater Utilities Authority, Stillwater Economic Development Authority, and Stillwater Planning Commission air on this station, and replays of these meetings can be found here daily and on demand at stillwater.org. For more information, or if you have questions, contact the Office of Marketing and Public Relations at 405-742-8362 or email news@stillwater.org.
No, they turned
The TV was off, yeah.
What is the score?
You mean you guys didn't put it on all these TVs out here?
2-1. Good guys?
Should I sit down or we just turn?
I think we'll just. No, we got.
Well, no, we got
several votes. Okay, is there a motion to reconvene from executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All right, we are back. Next on our agenda is a report from Stillwater Chamber of Commerce.
Ms. Navarcall.
Well, good evening. I'll try to be really brief because I'm sure you probably guys are exhausted after coming off that executive session, but thank you for having us here tonight. Ms. Navarcall, I'm the CEO at the Stillwater Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to give you guys an update on all the initiatives that the Chamber has been up to over this past year. We started back in January 2013 with the development of very specific directives that the board and I both felt were important to kind of bring our economic development entity to the next level. After some changes, most of these initiatives have now been completed, but just over the last 5 months. So we've really worked hard in the last 5 months. We did make changes to our economic development team. And beginning of this year, we most recently added Mark Spitzow to our ED team. He joined us on May 19. Mark, thank you. Hopefully you guys have had the opportunity to visit with him. But we're excited. He's comes out of the Oklahoma City Chamber and worked in their economic development department there and will bring a lot of expertise, I think, to our entity here. Okay, so some of our top initiatives where we wanted to start and what we wanted to do this year was the development of a strategic plan for the chamber for primary company recruitment, business retention, expansion. We did not previously had a plan,
economic development, and we needed to determine what direction we needed to provide to our staff. What are our attributes? What companies match those attributes? What are we missing? What are we losing because of these missing elements? And how do we solve those issues were all things that we looked at. We now have a plan that we have developed. It is in the final stages, so it is still in progress, but we will take it to our board of directors after final review of our committee, and then we'll bring it to CDAC to share with that group there. And when I get ready to close today, I'll share with you just some of the 6 main initiatives of where we look forward to go.
Okay. Oh, it's gonna be loud. National statistics show that 80% of job creation comes from business expansions. So we look to establish a specific number of visits each year to local companies, along with developing a business visit form. And so we wanted to have specific questions that we visited with our businesses about pertaining to economic development, where they are looking to go as a company, and then hopefully to find out if they were having any issues, if we could solve them, or if they were looking to expand. So both of those have been completed. When a site selector looks at our company, or looks at our city to develop a new location, their search in our community begins long before we even know that they're looking. So part of that is the development of available properties through an online property locator, which has been completed, and also website redevelopment. The property database locator, this year the Chamber set out on a mission to collect all of the available buildings and land either for sale or lease, which included commercial and industrial sites. We notified property owners and realtors about their site and asked for their permission to be able to upload onto our system. And currently, if a site is listed on our system, it is searchable not only to those looking at Stillwater, but also through the Oklahoma Department of Commerce, and also nationally through a system called Xceligent, which is a commercial database system similar to Loop.net. Last year, we also hired a consultant to review our economic development website. We know that we need to work on our ED website. And so through that consultant, we hired her to rewrite script on there and also provide direction on what we're missing. So we do have that data. It has been a slow process to get that information uploaded and implemented, but it is something that we are working on. We also knew that we needed to provide and track certain metrics. And so we've previously really had no system in place for tracking. It's been Excel database spreadsheets. And so this year we've developed a metric that is a set standard, so we can report to not only the Chamber Board, but also to the city and to your trustees. It's not just totals of information, it's also true information about who did we visit with, what was the status, how many requests did we respond, what was the outcome, what projects maybe could we not bid on because of missing elements. We didn't have a site available, we didn't have a building. So this has developed over the last year, but I feel that we are close to finalizing that, and what your end of the year report will show will be similar to what you received quarterly, and I think it's pretty set where we're going to take it. Also, the ePulse system. This is called Executive Pulse, and it is a database through our partnership with Oklahoma City Chamber, and it allows us to track specific information, business retention expansion information on companies that are located in Stillwater that we visit with. It is also both searchable that ODOC can get on and look at our information, as well as any of the other partnering ePulse users. And that has been fully implemented, and we're using that and have businesses uploaded in the system now. And then also the last was an economic forecaster. This allows us to input data and determine the impact of a project on our community. We've used this before, but the numbers that we had were relevant only through Oklahoma City Chamber. We now have it set here where it's Payne County numbers. So the information that we can put in is true to our sales tax, our current average wages for jobs that are posted here in Payne County. And then finally, the last piece was to develop a survey that we could send out, that we could analyze what are the issues facing our businesses. And so in June of last year, we pushed out that survey, and no surprise that 39% of our issues are workforce issues, so lack of qualified employees. That's what's affecting our businesses. We know that this is not only an issue that Stillwater faces, but really is faced across our state due to the low unemployment rates. And in April of 2014, the unemployment rate came out for Stillwater, 2.9%. And so while it's good on some aspects that all of the workers that are here are probably have jobs and are working, it's very hard and difficult when we look to recruit when a major company looks at a low unemployment rate of 2.9%. And since this is an issue, and it's imperative we grow our community, developing more work opportunities and companies that offer higher than average wages. You can view this commuter pattern and can see that 14% of our workforce is leaving and going into Oklahoma County. And so how do we transition that workforce of that 14% back into Stillwater? And that's creating those above average jobs here. So right now we're examining who is in this group and what can we do to attract companies to ensure that we retain that 14%. Okay, so what happened this year? This year, 50 leads were generated and worked through the chamber. 28 new businesses were opened or located in Stillwater. 47 businesses were visited with a retention expansion visit, and 5 of those businesses actually expanded. 20 requests for proposals were answered, and 12 site visits were hosted, and support was given to 3 entrepreneurial companies. Out of those entrepreneurial companies, we actually developed a new company here. These are all of our new locates out of the 28 businesses that the chamber worked for the year. Okay, the new entrepreneurial company that we brought in is a company called Everblue. It is a research and development company that works in the oil and gas industry, and they have developed a product or a mobile unit that will recycle fracking water. Okay, and so when they came in, they have been researching and working on this for 2 years, and they were out of the Kentucky area, and they were looking at either bringing this corporate headquarters either to Stillwater or to College Station, Texas. And we worked with them for a number of weeks. We set them up with ODOC. We introduced them to I2E representatives. They now have qualified for quality jobs, and they're also going to receive funding from I2E for development here in Stillwater. Over 3 years, they will add 30 jobs and an average wage of $100,000 per employee. We've also seen a ton of oil and gas development. Some of those that are listed there are Outlaw Diesel, which is mechanical repair, JCAM, Maverick, NOV Wilson, which is valve and pipe fittings. And actually that NOV Wilson has already expanded. So they initially came here and hired 5 employees and thought that they would sit that way for a couple years. And they've already grown an additional 15 for a total of 20 employees based here in Stillwater. A major win for Stillwater was American Energy Partners. And so they purchased 42 acres just south of Stillwater for the redevelopment or for the development of a second field office. Their first field office is in Ohio. This will be their second one. Their plans for this site are to employ 50 over 3 administrative buildings that are located on site. They will come in under the name American Energy Woodford. They'll be working the Woodford Shale here. And they plan to develop 4 rigs in the area and maintain 50 well sites by the end of this year, so within 6 months. One of our expansion projects was our own company, National Standard. They consolidated a line out of Ohio. I feel sorry for Ohio because it seems like a lot of things are coming here from there. But the first photo is an actual shot of an addition of 2 machines. which is a modernization of their welding wire process. And that second photo there is the actual equipment that they moved in from Ohio, which expands their weld wire. It's called Rev Wire. And this line implementation created an investment of about $7 million in new machinery and created an additional 12 jobs for National Standard, bringing their employee count to 171 employees now. And we've actually partnered them or introduced them to Total Energy, who uses a lot of weld wire, and so that connection now has been made, and they are going to start developing weld wire for Total Energy also. A couple of updates to share on some of our main manufacturers. ASCO is currently at 100 employees and would like to add an additional 50 to 75 by year's end. So in 6 months, they want to add an additional 50 to 75. Currently, they're looking to hire machinists and CNC operators, but specifically looking for those that are in the aerospace machining sector.
Will they bring those people in, or will they try to hire locally?
Have tried to hire local, and I think have brought on a lot of the Merck employees, but those that they could hire locally is pretty much dead. And so now it's going to be people that are coming in. And there is a lot of aerospace companies in our region, but they're specific to the assembly of aerospace equipment, and they need pure machinists, and so the builders of it. And so that's kind of where they've had a little bit of problem. But what they've done is they've implemented internal training. And so they have 600 hours for every new employee on the job training. And then they start actually in Tulsa at an NDT, which is a non-destructive training site for specific training, and then they're sending these employees over to Brussels for 2 weeks to train in one of their...
I just don't know, does our career tech offer machine?
Yes, they have, but it's such specific on what they're needing, and they are working with Career Tech, and they are taking advantage of some of the training, but what they need is more advanced than what all that they're offering there. Within the facility now, they have 2 cells up and producing. They sold their first line in November this past year. By the end of this month, they will also have a 3rd cell running. And then by the end of July, they'll have their first aluminum machining line operational. It had currently been testing over in Germany. They assemble all of the equipment in one of the facilities there, test it, and if it runs well, then they disassemble it, ship it over to America, and then reassemble it here. And so this is already in shipment to America and should be operational by the end of July. This year on a trip to Brussels, you'll see there that President Obama stopped to visit with ASCO representatives and welcome them to Stillwater. In October, ASCO celebrates their 60th anniversary, and they plan to do a big celebration here at this facility and plan on inviting President Obama to attend that. We'll see how that goes, if he makes it here. Okay, and then Total Energy, I'll give an update about Total Energy. They're currently at 65 employees, and they're set and they're hiring for this year. They won't go any higher, but there are here, those photos there show the additions of lines, the equipment that they've brought in. Their focus initially was to work on the refurbishment of the vessels, but that has totally changed because of their sales has all been in new development. So everything that they're doing there is brand new development. And they're slammed on their workload right now. So in summary, totals this year, the Chamber assisted in the creation of 213 jobs with a new capital investment of $17.3 million. Other initiatives that we worked on, legislative advocacy. This chamber has taken a strong stand on the E-Fairness Act, which allows states to collect unpaid sales tax from online purchases. We also worked strongly on economic development incentives that were in danger this year. One specifically was the aerospace tax credit, and that goes to employers hiring aerospace engineers, but also a tax credit to the engineer moving to Oklahoma. And so that was up to expire, and we advocated for them to renew that tax credit, and they did do that. We also developed a small business training program this year, and we did 3 on the chamber side, which were related to basic customer service skills, but we also added 2 on the economic development side. And the first one that we did was on importing and exporting. So if you're a business who manufactures a product and you're interested in exporting it but don't have a clue on how to get it going, that was the basis of this program. We had 5 businesses attend that meeting. And then we also are planning for a second one later this year, and it'll be on winning federal grants. We also are still working on the commercial airline development, working very closely with Gary on that. We developed a social media presence for economic development, and we currently had not had anything, but this year developed a Twitter site to share information and updates about what's happening in Stillwater. And of course, we worked on buy local projects with the Jingle Bells and the Still Local. And we actually have a new program that we're getting ready to roll out next week called Hidden Cash. And so hopefully you guys have caught the buzz. That's kind of the craziness that's going around right now. But basically what you do is you hide cash. We're also going to do gift cards at local retailers around the city. And then you provide clues, and people follow the clues and find the hidden cash. And so it helps our retailers, also promotes our community. Okay, future plans, what's next? Obviously, we know that we want to complete the strat plan, and these are our lead initiatives that we want to focus on. Job creation, primary company recruitment, business retention and expansion, entrepreneurship, and targeting specific industries that make sense for Stillwater. Funding. Stillwater has the lowest funding for economic development of all the metro communities, all of the micropolitan communities, and compared within the region to most university communities. And so we need to explore what are our other options, whether through private or public opportunities. We need to be put on a level playing field in comparison with our other ED entities in the area. And so we have to explore some option for that. Marketing. Key components within this will be the completion of the website update, determining specific industry clusters that fit for Stillwater, social media marketing plan, and the final development of an economic development newsletter. And we are working actually with the Chandler Thanks Group about the look of what this will be, but it will be in conjunction with the Industrial Foundation, the city, the bid district, the CVB, and it will be a culmination of all of these economic development entities together and getting information out about Stillwater. We've also booked a conference in October that will focus on unmanned aerial systems technology in hopes of recruitment of businesses here to Stillwater to take advantage of OSU's degree program. Continuing a unified economic development vision, working with CDAC and our other economic development partners, the implementation of the branding projects, and we are going to be sending out another business survey via email to our local businesses here. Research and analysis, monitor and update demographic trends. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the Chamber keeps the cost of living index and goes out and makes those measurements quarterly. Progressing on our goals, analyzing data, and ensuring that what we're doing are what our businesses need us to do. And then that's the research and analysis. Also operational maintenance. We need to continue updating our systems, making sure that we have the most recent and effective databases and information that we can provide to site selectors that may be looking at our community, but also within our own community. Are there any questions?
How does our the 2.9 unemployment, which is great, how does that compare to other, cities our size in Oklahoma or even?
Well, the national or the average for, let me see if I can get back here, is 3.6, I think, for the state of Oklahoma. I'm not sure what Enid's is right now. That's a good one for us to compare to. It's probably very close. Oklahoma is low. Yeah, low unemployment. United States is 5.9, Oklahoma is 4.0, Payne County is 3.4. So,
Perfect. Thank you.
You know, Mayor, in another conversation, we were talking about how we wish we could recruit higher paying jobs to Stillwater. Seems to me one thing we might consider is raising the chamber contract since we're so far out of alignment. I'd like to see some comparative statistics.
absolutely. We have collected that data and compared not only for ourselves within the chamber, but also the Industrial Foundation is looking at that information too. So we have not only economic development entities that are in the state of Oklahoma, but also university communities that are within our region.
Ms. Navarcall and I have been discussing that very thing, and we haven't brought you a proposed contract for this year, but I think we'll probably bring it with some options, but I do think we'll be recommending a substantial increase. I think there's so much work to be done that we're developing the capability to do that we haven't had, and I think we
just one counselor, but we've been pushing our activity on the economic development front. By ours, I mean City Hall. I think it would be appropriate to expand not only ours, but the chambers as well, but that's just one council.
Now, we've asked the chamber to be focused on the primary job, the manufacturing, the industry side, the non-sales tax based type activity. And so my question's a little outside that scope, but it's still within the activities of the chamber. And I think it actually goes right into, I think the success, and what I'm going to ask mirrors the success that you've been having in the primary recruitment. How many members of the chamber are there now?
Currently, there are 800 members of the chamber. We have seen a percentage growth of new members of 346% since I came on board with the chamber. We started at 600 members. We're at 800. We announced that at the luncheon the other day. And so, of course, that does play on also the new growth that we've seen on the business side and also to how our businesses are doing in Stillwater.
Do you have, just off the top, and like I said, I know this is outside the report, but how many employees are represented by those 800 members?
It's close to 22,000 employees. It's like 21,795 employees represented under that 800.
Okay, thank you.
Good job, Lisa.
Any other questions? I think the report, I greatly appreciate the format of the report in that it did track what we have asked of the chamber under this contract. Not only did I like the news within the report, but I appreciate the format in the way that it was presented.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could we get that report? With the, could you just like in the email say how many members and whatnot? I think that's interesting. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay. Next on our agenda, item B, no action to be taken on item B.
Basically, like for you to table it subject to call. Would that be appropriate, Mr. Norman, or just remove
Do it that way, or you can just skip it as a no action item.
Just skip it as a no
Skip
action.
as no action item. That'll take us to item C, the Economic Development Agreement between City of Stillwater and Garden Party LLC.
I have presented to you and prepared a proposed business development incentive agreement. It's an in arrears tax rebate in the business district, which follows the models that we've done in the past. It would be for a business known as Garden Party. Its principal owner is Mr. Brian Hobbs. Would be opening in lease space 502 South Main in the prior Oddfellows building. The business pro forma would indicate that a 1% rebate over a period of 5 years could approach as much as $50,000. This agreement would agree to rebate of 1% for the creation of the new business, and it would go for 5 years or until $50,000 is rebated, whichever comes first.
Does this agreement follow the same format as prior agreements?
Yes, it does, exactly. There's no upfront money. It's totally in arrears. It's a rebate sharing a proportion of new growth.
Is there any, go right ahead.
No, go ahead.
Does he say if he's going to create any new jobs?
I don't know how many employees we'll have. It'll be a florist shop. He will be working in it himself, and we guess 2 to 3 employees, but I don't have a specific number.
Highlight the word new creation or new business. He already currently operates a wedding business that some people may know him from, but this is for the new business he's creating. Correct?
This is for the new floral shop.
New. Okay, thank you. I motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the agreement between City of Stillwater and Garden Party LLC. And that is approved 4-0. There being no other items on this agenda, is there a motion to adjourn Stillwater Economic Development Authority?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn CEDA. As approved 4-0, CEDA is adjourned. We will reconvene the city council meeting. And on the agenda are the request to move into executive session. One motion, both executive sessions. Is there a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Motion and second to move into executive session for Stillwater City Council. And that is approved 4-0.
Thought you were gonna